Is it possible to start an art business in your 50s? For years, I said, this is the year. And I finally decided to take the leap. And you know what? I want you to join me on this journey. Thanks so much for joining me today on my channel. Welcome back. If you're returning, my name's Kim. I'm 52, a GenXer, and an artist. I paint predominantly landscapes. I work in oils and acrylics. And I created this channel as a place for people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond to come together and be inspired, learn from each other, and to take a chance on themselves and their art. Because you know what? It's never too late to go after your dreams. Before we figure out why we're here and what this channel's all about, I think you need a little bit of a backstory. I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan. Art was my first love. I was always drawing and painting as a child, and I decided that something in the artistic field was going to be my career path. In high school, I decided that that was fashion merchandising, the job where you make the beautiful displays in retail stores. And when I met with our guidance counselor in high school, he had another suggestion. He suggested business school for two reasons. Number one, my marks were pretty good. And number two, people in the arts didn't get jobs or make money. So because my goal was to move away from the small town where I was living and to support myself, my dreams did a complete 180-degree shift, and I decided to apply for the College of Commerce at the U of S, and I decided I was going to be an investment banker. Because if I was going to make money, I may as well make a lot of money, right? Well, when I got to commerce and took classes like accounting and finance, I realized I didn't actually enjoy them. And the only classes that I did enjoy were my marketing classes. I got my Bachelor of Commerce with a major in marketing in 1994. And in 1994, it was not a great job market. Like so many people I convocated with, we wallpapered our walls with rejection letters from companies. Remember that when companies would mail a rejection letter to you to tell you that you weren't quite up to their qualifications? Well, I took the first job that I could get, and that was a job selling computers at Future Shop. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm not a very loud talker, and the idea of getting up every morning, going to work at 8 o'clock to do a motivational cheer seemed like my idea of a personal hell. So I lasted 3 months, and I found another job, another retail job, this time in high-end menswear, where I sold suits at the Squire shop in Man-Size Menswear in Saskatoon. And even though I enjoyed my job and really liked my bosses, there was something missing. You see, art had never really left my mind. Even when I was in commerce, I took a drawing class and loved it. So I looked through the U of S course catalog and found a night class, an art class that fit into my schedule. Now, this class was so out of my comfort zone, it was amazing that I took that leap of faith to take it. It was a multidisciplinary class taught by the amazing artist Linda Duval, and we did storytelling and installation work and performance art. And it just was such a wonderful experience. The class was so welcoming and supportive, and we encouraged each other. And when it was time for us to put on our group show as a class, it was an amazing experience. It was a series of installation pieces, and mine dealt with the struggles that I had with my identity. I was adopted as a baby, and even though I was in my mid-20s, I still struggled with that. So it was an emotional piece, but it really lit a fire under me to decide that I wanted to go back to school for art. So I took the plunge and went back to school full time with the intention of doing a Bachelor of Fine Arts in studio work. And I took some great classes. However, there were some aspects that weren't awesome. Some of the critiques were brutal. And one of the student shows that I entered in, it was not the same welcoming, supporting environment like the other show. It was competitive and it wasn't the same experience. So it really showed me that I maybe wasn't mentally prepared for putting on a show as a final project to get my Bachelor of Fine Arts. I talked to my advisor and I went into art history because even though the exhibiting part of that show wasn't great, I was on the curatorial committee and I really loved that. So I decided that that was the new goal, to work in an art gallery or to maybe possibly teach art history at a university. I do have to mention that when I worked in menswear, I did get a glimpse of that fashion merchandising world because store displays had to be built. So it's kind of funny how life gives you little glimpses of your dreams, doesn't it? So life had other plans for me. Instead of going on to get my master's, I moved all across Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest. I lived in Calgary for a while, worked at a commercial art gallery, and then moved to Pemberton, BC, Squamish, BC, Redmond, Washington, and Monroe, Washington. And in that crazy way that life gives you these curveballs, my daughter and I ended up right back in my hometown, the place that I said I would never live again. But never say never, right? Eventually, I remarried, had another daughter, and found my way into a marketing job. It's really interesting how our life experiences, our education, our travels, they all kind of work together. And these are what helps me in my job every day. Remember when I mentioned taking chances? At the age of 47, I actually exhibited two of my paintings in a local art show. One was a oil painting of a winter highway scene called The Road to Willowbrook. It was just an ordinary scene of an ordinary day, but there was something about it that really captured the attention of people, and it was actually used by the gallery in their Facebook marketing of the show. And as a piece, it really spoke to people. And at that moment, I decided that that's the kind of art that I wanted to make. The kind where you find the extraordinary in the ordinary. Over the years, I kept saying, this is the time that I'm going to finally take my art seriously. But you know how life goes. Your family is your number one priority, and you get busy with your job and everything else. And my painting just kind of got pushed to the side. But a couple of months ago, I was watching during one of my work breaks YouTube videos, and a video by Jen from the channel Silver and Solo was one of the recommendations. And I watched it, and it was something that I had never seen before. Someone who looked like me, um, of my age, and talking about her life and her experiences. And I thought, maybe there's a place where I could do that. Something clicked. I realized that there was a place, on this platform, a place for us where we could share our lives and our experiences and our art. So it inspired me of thinking of creating my own channel. In my job as a marketing specialist, every day I do social media and communications and community engagement. Now, community engagement is the most rewarding part of my job. It's great that I get to do donations and sponsorships and have my Oprah moment where I get to give away money. But the really rewarding part of that is the relationship building that I do, where I work with groups to make communities better. And sometimes these relationships have spanned over years. And that's kind of the vision that I have for this channel, that I want to replicate that community that I experienced in that first evening art class, where we learned from each other and we supported each other and we grew together. And really, the reality is, in my job, the job existed before I started it, and it will exist after I leave. So I want to create something that's been built from the ground up, and a community of like-minded people. So here's where you come in. Where are you in your art journey? Are you a brand new artist, or have you kind of started painting or drawing, creating art, but moved away from it? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. And if you're ready to join a community of like-minded people on this art adventure, then hit the subscribe button. Next week, we're putting this all into action. So remember, it's never too late to create something meaningful. Take care, and we'll talk soon.